Did you see there's some new presidential rankings that came out?
Yeah.
Did you? All
Somebody
right.
got mad about Trump's ranking.
Let's
Mhm.
there were some new presidential rankings that came out. So first of all, let me read to you where these rankings came from. And I'm not going to go over the entire list, but we're going to go over some notables if Lana does not mind. The 2024 Presidential Greatness Project Expert Survey was conducted online via Qualtrics from November 15th to December 31st, 2023. Respondents included current and recent members of the President's and Executive Politics section of the American Political Science Association, which is the foremost organization of social science experts in presidential politics, as well as scholars who had recently published peer-reviewed academic research in key related scholarly journals or academic presses. 525 respondents were invited to participate, and 154 usable responses were received, yielding a 29.3 response rate. Now, I don't know. I've never heard of the President and Executive Politics sections of the American Political Science Association, but that's sure, it sounds important.
Yeah.
They sound like they know there's scholars involved, there's social
Exactly.
scientists involved,
Associations.
experts. So I'm going to take, just based on what this is, that these people know what they're talking about. If somebody can prove to me otherwise that this is a scam and it's not really true, I'm happy to look at that. But real quick, this is how they've done the rankings. The primary purpose of the survey was to create a ranking of presidential greatness that covered all presidents from George Washington to Joe Biden. Joe Biden's included in this. So be interested to see where he fell. To do this, we asked respondents to rate each president on a scale of 0 to 100 for their overall greatness, with 0 equal failure, 50 equal average, and 100 equal great. And I'm assuming in between. So you can give somebody a 25, and that's in between failure and average. You can give somebody a 75, and that's between average and great. When they averaged the rankings for each president and ranked from their highest average to lowest. So the guy who remains at the top, who seems to be the GOAT, if you want to call him that.
Obama. No.
Well, he's not at the top.
Oh, is he? Who's it? Clinton?
No, the top president of all time?
Oh, Biden.
No.
Who's the top
The
president?
number one president, Abraham Lincoln. He's always number one. He's number one on everyone. He's number one on every list all the time. Well, actually, I take that back. Sometimes it's Washington. Sometimes it's Washington because Washington had the
voting for these presidents.
Well, I mean, I guess you do have to, the guy who abolished slavery, you got to also, rank very highly the guy who, basically was the first president of the United States. And probably he kind of set the rules and said, I'm not a king. I want to be president. We're going to have terms. We're not going to make me the president. So that's why historians and people are involved in this, because they put all the historic facts and everything that goes in on this.
Did Lincoln not have slaves?
He did, but obviously you got to give him credit for some sort of, at least steps into eliminating slavery. I mean, is that something that I'm wrong about?
I mean, you can give him credit because he did abolish it.
No, so Lincoln's not number one on your list.
No.
He's not even in the top. He's not below Trump, is he?
That's the thing that most white people love Abraham Lincoln. I mean, we just kind of like, yeah, why? Of course, yeah, great that he signed it. But did he do it for other reasons outside of, wow?
Well, yeah, expand on that a little bit. I mean, because it's an interesting conversation, because again, you're right. I mean, there's a perspective and there's, history books and what we're taught and all that stuff, but there's different perspective that you certainly have. And that's certainly something I would love to hear.
Yeah, because I don't think he ever thought of Black people as equal. So I don't know.
Yeah. So Lincoln's not on. He's not on the top of your list.
He beat them.
But I did add, he's not below Trump, right?
No, of course not. I mean, at least he did sign it.
Right. That doesn't say. I mean, he gets some credit, and
I
I
would have
think
never said Lincoln, but okay, Lincoln's first.
so.
Got it.
Lincoln's.
And
Well,
then
I'm gonna.
why did you say Washington? Like, oh my God. Like,
I
what did
am gonna give you the
Washington
top
do?
10.
Okay.
I'll give you the top 10, and I'll give it to you in order
Okay.
rather than doing the countdown.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So, number 1 is Abraham Lincoln, as we just discussed.
Okay.
Not in Lana's book, though. Lana's Lincoln's out. Um, Franklin Delano Roosevelt is number 2.
Sure.
George Washington is 3. Teddy Roosevelt is 4. Thomas Jefferson is 5. Truman is 6. Barack Obama is number 7. He moved up 1 spot from the last time they did this poll, which was back in 2018. And it's funny is they show where they ranked previous polls. The other one was done in 2015. He moved up 9 spots to
Wow.
number 8 in 2018,
Nice.
and he moved up another spot on this poll from the 2018 poll. Eisenhower was 8, Lyndon B. Johnson was 9, and John F. Kennedy was 10. He moved up 6 spots. Now, that's the interesting thing, too, about this poll is where people moved up and where they moved down. Clinton moved up 2 spots when he was down 4 spots from the original one in 2015. He moved up 2 spots to number 12. Coming in at number 14, which has really made a lot of people very mad. Number 14 is your current president, Joseph R. Biden. And they gave him really good. Obviously, you have to have really good marks to debut on the list at number 14. And guess who he moved up ahead of? By the way, Clinton, Obama, and Biden ahead of, and I'm glad they're going to expose this, and this guy's going to continue to move down as time goes on and be exposed for the fraud that he was, Ronald Reagan, who dropped down another 7 down to 16. They used to have him in the top 10.
Wow.
Ronald Reagan. Oh, he was so great. He was so influential. But as history goes on and we see more and more of the influence that he had on not just politics when he was in office, but politics today, I think historians are looking back and go, maybe he wasn't so fucking great. And I was forced into telling people how great he was because, you know, I don't want to sound biased, or I don't want to, you know, or because it was just this known idea that Ronald Reagan was a great president. And he wasn't. He was a terrible president.
Right.
But still finds its way in the top 20. A couple of other notables, George H.W. Bush dropped down to 19, which I was not a H.W. Bush fan, but I think out of all the Republican presidents since I've been alive, I think he got the worst rap out of anybody. And I think he was probably the least, what's the word? Obtrusive or, yeah. I think I do believe H.W. Bush wanted to do right for the American
capacity. I just don't think he just was president material. Like
I think he was able to win at the right time, but his problem is that he came in against Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton is just so charming. And he
senior or junior Bush? Who are we talking about?
He's senior.
Okay. Oh,
yeah. Junior was an idiot, and he's one of the worst presidents of all time too. He was just a complete clown. But Dad, he wasn't that terrible. He wasn't. Don't get me wrong. I would never have voted for him, but he wasn't terrible the way I see the other Republican presidents that have been around in my lifetime. But Carter came in at 22, and I bring that one up, and he's up 4, by the way. I bring that up because the big talking point on the right is that Jimmy Carter is the worst president of all time, although now they're saying Joe Biden is making Jimmy Carter look 10 times worse. Dumb. But way down on the list at number 32 was George W. Bush. Of course, you have Richard Nixon down at 35, who was a horrible president. And coming in at dead last, by the way, I want to go over just a couple of quick scores. Obama had a total ranking of 73.8, Clinton 66.42, Biden 62.66, and Donald Trump, Johnson, Buchanan were before him. Johnson came in at 21.56. Buchanan came in at 16.71. Donald Trump came in at 10.92. And I'd be very curious to see what scorecard gave him even the 10 points.
That's beautiful.
You know what else is beautiful? We're going to play one more clip before we get out of here. This was the reaction on Fox News and Kayleigh McEnany when they saw the presidential rankings come out. This is the same Kayleigh McEnany that Donald Trump recently called milquetoast because she didn't say one thing that was not in line of what he thought she should be saying. But let's see her reaction and the rest of these Fox clowns.
Ranking, and I'm going to add, in my view, a highly questionable ranking of presidents, is turning heads after Biden came in higher than both Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan in his wildest dreams.
It wasn't his wildest dream, it's reality.
The Presidential Greatness Project, who claim to be the foremost organization of social science experts in presidential politics.
Now, she doesn't believe it. So if Kayleigh McEnany wants to come on the show and explain to us how they are not, because I asked anybody, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, she doesn't believe it. And I'm assuming she has a reason or she has an explanation as to why they're not.
But maybe the foremost example of the disconnect between ivory tower academia and real people.
Sure.
That aside, Abe Lincoln ranked first. Okay, fair. Then comes Obama at 7th, and Biden came in 14th, actually beating Ronald Reagan, who came in 16th.
They're laughing it up.
Dead last. Look, Lisa, where to begin? This is infuriating in so many ways. 154 respondents. They are the ivory tower elites who in no way represent the view of the American people.
No, but it also goes to show you, though, how history can be written and some of it can be built.
By the way, I love that these Fox News women who are dressed up with probably about $40,000 worth of clothes and makeup and everything keep calling everybody the elites. Like they're the regular people who live in the trailer parks with the people flying their Trump flags. You know what? I don't even have to hear what the rest of what they said. Just watching the pain of Obama being ranked ahead of Trump.
I hate that.
See, here's the thing. And based on their views only, I understand why they're upset. I understand why it drives them crazy. Because I'm watching one time this clown Ben Shapiro, who's another one that people listen to and just automatically, you know, they give him, he's the intelligent one. He's really smart. And I'm not saying he's not smart, but he's smart in the way that he knows how to communicate to the audience that's listening to him. So when he was ranking presidents A to F, he had Donald Trump at a B and said that he can get to an A as his term continues. He had Barack Obama at a flat F. So, I mean, you know, want to talk about getting serious? Let's get serious.
Oh, come on, man. So ridiculous.
Yep.
F.
So, well, that's Ben Shapiro. You're a big Ben Shapiro fan, aren't you? You listen all the time.
No, I don't. Isn't Ben Shapiro the one who was complaining about
Barbie?
This song. Oh, yeah, Barbie too.
Yeah. WAP.
Yeah, he was very upset about that.
He that really did not sit well with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, he was very upset. Like he talked about that for a long time.
Yeah, and it kind of backfired on him because people were wondering about whether or not his wife was able to get prepared for any sexual intercourse with Ben Shapiro. You know, he also, I don't know if you saw recently, he was part of a rap song that actually was #1 on iTunes, which again, I want to make sure that everybody understands it's not that difficult to get well, it would be difficult for me. If I tried to do a song on iTunes, I would not be able to do it. But when you also have some sort of name out there and you have a following that will spend the 99 cents to put your song at #1, it was the cringy. I didn't even have the heart to play it.
Like, why are they doing rap? They don't even like rap. Like, it's just so stupid. It's like Trump goes up there with those stupid ass sneakers and had the nerve to have sneakerhead come out of his mouth. Like, what the fuck do you know about being a sneakerhead, other than what someone told you. You go here in front of some sneakerheads. I'm so happy he got booed. Like, what a clown. He just thought, of course he wants the MAGA voters, but don't tell me in his head he wasn't thinking like, yeah, I can get the blacks to buy these sneakers because they like sneakers and they like shiny. Like, it's like fucking
Lana, what you just said, that's his entire presidency. It's not
yeah,
that he knows anything. It's what somebody tells him, and then
right.
he goes out and says it.
Yeah,
So that's not just, him pitching sneakers. That's him pitching a healthcare plan that
yeah,
doesn't exist. That's him
right,
pitching a
right.
wall that, all this stuff. He's an empty vessel, and
Yeah.
you have the Stephen Millers and Stephen Bannons putting his ideas in his head and just say, just run with it. Do your thing now. And he does. And, that's why he somehow won the presidency. So, I think we saw some encouraging news on our show tonight, as far as the donations and the evangelical voters and other things that make me even more encouraged about the upcoming election.
Yeah.
And I think as Biden, if he does do the attack on Trump, which I think he should,
Yes.
and I don't even care if it's people going, it's the anti-Trump vote. Great. Bring out the anti-Trump vote. I don't care.
Let's just do it. Just vote. We don't
Yep.
care. We don't
Just
care
vote.
what you call it. Just vote.